Well, a fresh week of trade ahead of us. We are on Monday morning, but let's take a quick stock of how last week progressed for global markets as well as how Asian markets have opened in early trade today. All three US indices rose in trade on Friday as well as on a weekly basis. Across last week, the S&P closed at a record high. The S&P was up almost 1%, posting its best week since February of 2021, and this is despite inflation fears coming. Inflation spiked strongly and the S&P 500 was up 3.8%, almost 4% for the week. The Dow was up around 0.6% in trade on Friday and was up 4% since Monday of last week, and the Nasdaq too gained 0.75% in trade on Friday and was up again over 3.5% in trade across last week. Mind you, US had announced late last week that inflation had come in at 6.8% year on year for the month of November, of course, and that is a 39-year high in terms of inflation in the US. And despite that, markets rallied largely in what experts believe was lower than expected inflation numbers. So the market had factored a slightly higher inflation number. The Dow futures this Monday morning is up a further 0.25% in trade, and that's good news for the bulls. When you look at how European stocks closed lower as investors tracked both Omicron, which has had an impact in Europe, as well as US inflation data. The DAX was down around 0.1%, the FTSE was down around 0.4%, the CAC was down 0.25% in trade, and the Stock 600 was down almost 0.33% in trade on Friday. Asian indices though have started the week on the positive. The Nikkei is up almost 1% as we speak. The ASX 200 also up 0.75%, and the Kospi 2 up just about 1% in trade as we speak. When I look at then how commodities have been doing, oil is up over 1% in early trade today. Oil is now at $72 a barrel. In fact, around the $72.50 a barrel mark. And gold has also edged higher. It did edge higher on Friday. However, today it's a bit flat with a positive bias. It's at around $17.80 an ounce as we speak. In terms of currencies, dollar index and treasury yields have both risen despite the high US inflation data. So the dollar index is up at around 96.12 in early trade, and the 10-year treasury is just below that 1.5% mark, quite flat in early trade today, and crypto is just below the $50,000 mark.